Caesar on our TV screens. It's something that I would thoroughly enjoy, but I imagine you pulled maybe a bit here and there from different people to bring into life. Would that be a correct assumption?
Yes, yeah. Different, you know, presenters, different people that you have seen over the years, whether they're presenters or whether they're some Vegas act or something, or, you know, and you just kind of put them all together and come up with this guy. I mean, for me, you know, once you put all the, I have an idea, a very clear idea of what he should look like, and with V, we put together the look. I tried to do a nose at first, but I wanted this nose that looked like it had been pared down over the years. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, a very chiseled in a really bad way. But it didn't quite work. But the other stuff worked. And once you do all that, you know, you have all that stuff, and you see that image in the mirror. You don't really have to do anything. You know, it kind of does it all for you.
Sam, you look like you had a lot of fun playing Finnick. What would you say is Finnick's motivation? What is he out to achieve, and who is he for? You know, in terms of.
He's out to disarm people. Yes, I mean, I don't think he even knows really. I think he's been forced into a life he's not hugely comfortable with. But obviously, you have to adapt to survive. I mean, what I really loved about playing Finnick is that he's a very complex character. You know, beneath the sort of confident, charming, manipulative, and very sexual exterior is a very sort of insecure, broken, damaged soul. And you know, I think he's very lost, and I think that's what, you know, I can kind of relate to in a sense. He's a very sensitive soul, and I think he believes that, you know, he was forced into a life, like I said, that he's not happy with, and you know, he blames the powers that be for that, and he's out to kind of avenge himself and
suck it to him.
Yeah, to suck it to him.
Liam, do you think that Gail, he worries that he's lost or is losing Katniss?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a kind of a constant battle that he's dealing with. I just squashed my finger. It's on my phone. Last night I was doing this thing on the table with the knife, and I smashed my little finger, and I just smashed it again.
Should we get a medic?
There's a good possibility it's broken, but that's neither here nor there.
The day of all days to do that.
Yeah. No, he's you know, he's constantly having to watch this girl that, you know, he feels very strongly about, fall in love with someone else. I think for the most part, there's not too much animosity between him and Peter. You know, I think Gail understands that Peter is one of Katniss's best hopes of staying alive. You know, he's constantly trying to protect her as well and keep her alive. So I think he understands that, as hard as it is to watch someone fall in love with the person he loves with.
Josh, Peter and Katniss, they get something out. They both get something out of the relationship, whatever that relationship is. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they've experienced something together in the first Hunger Games that was something that you can't really explain or have somebody else understand. So they kind of have this unique bond together that nobody's really going to ever fully get, which I think is a pretty special thing. I think that Peeta from Katniss, it's one of those things where when he first saw her, he just fell in love with her, and whatever reason it was, he wanted to take care of her and help her in any way possible. And I think that's evident in this, especially in Catching Fire. I think it takes off even more because he comes to her in a situation where she's pretending to be in love with him for Snow, for her own survival. And he comes to her and has the foresight to see that he needs to be her friend and support her in that way. So that to me is even a grander showing of your love, to be able to step away from the love romantic side of it and be a friend when you need to be. Things are hard to do.
Jeffrey, great to see you part of this film.
Oh, thank you.
And a Victor who had a number of years between winning and being drawn back into the games. Do you go so far as to kind of think what that character's done in those years between winning and then being put back in the games to kind of form, you know, where he is mentally now in terms of what we find him?
Well, you know, I think one of the interesting insights that Francis and Suzanne kind of shared that made a lot of sense to me that, you know, I ran with was the idea that he is a part of, you know, he's part of the design team for the Capitol for, you know, designing a lot of the systems and the technologies that are used, among other things, to exploit and oppress the outer districts. So, but as far as, you know, so that's, you know, what's left of it. But I think one of the things that was really informative to me was that he was resentful, you know, and that his rebellion is, sure, political, but is motivated, I think, as all of, as everyone involved, is motivated from a personal level, a feeling of, you know, personal attack. And so that was helpful, so that it wasn't. And I think that's what's interesting about these stories and these movies is that, you know, yes, there's the framework of political dialogue and social commentary, but very personal journeys that people are making. They're not standing on on the barricade or on, you know, soapboxes espousing political ideals, and really talking about, you know, those very granular things like home and love, and, you know, so I you know, I think he's been spending, you know, the time since he was in the games sitting home being resentful.
Bitter and twisted. Let's throw out some questions to our audience right here. Who would like to start with the first question? Gentleman here.
Question for the panel. Obviously, the Hunger Games themselves are dangerous. People die. Did anything kind of dangerous happen while you were filming? Were there any accidents on set or mishaps?
Sam?
There's a few. I think me and Jena are in constant competition to see who could fall over the most. I also think that Hawaiian Jungle had a real problem with me. Yeah, I walked into a bush and nearly blinded myself. I broke a finger.
Broke someone else's hand too, didn't you?
No, I knocked him out though.
I knew there was something.
Yeah, it was a very treacherous terrain. Yeah, I almost killed Lynn Cohen. What I'm trying to say is, never cast me ever again. Yeah, she's elderly. Yeah, I took a spill. It was the first day I had to pick Lynn up, and whoever decided to give me the responsibility of another human life, made a mistake. But basically, I picked her up first time, and we sort of walked off the spoke onto the beach, you know, the rocky spoke, you know, in the arena, and it's all fine. We decided we were going to go for a take, so I was like, yeah, fantastic. You know, obviously we're going to be running off this time, so I got her on my back, we started running, and I took a spill, and my knee slammed into the rock, and I was like, Lynn, let go. Oh, sorry, I have to explain that she was not allowed to go into the water because her blood pressure went so ridiculously high. So after I took my knee into the rock, she was clinging on for dear life, and I was like, Lynn, please get off, I'm going in. Yeah, we went.
She didn't let go. She went down.
She went in.
Captain Lynn Cohen.
So that's just one of many.
Okay, next question, please. Lady in the front row here.
Hi, I think it was the day after Jennifer won her Oscar that you guys all started filming because she had her head on. How did you celebrate on set? Did she bring her Oscar trophy along? What's she like on set? Did you all have a laugh?
She didn't bring her Oscar. I'm curious of who brings their Oscar to set the day after they win it. Because I've heard this question asked a couple times. I want to be the person that's like, yeah, I brought mine to set right after. Yeah.
I've actually worked with an actor who brought his or her Oscar onto the stage during a performance.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Don't say that.
Jennifer didn't do that. No, it wasn't Jennifer.
We didn't celebrate though.
What was it Woody said to her?
Oh, Woody always says every time she forgets a line, Woody goes, well, better give that Oscar back. So I think for her, she became even a bigger target, honestly. I think that after, she was already a pretty good sized target, then after the Oscar win, she became even a bigger target. But no, she didn't change it all.
We heard the last press conference, she's a bit of a prankster. She's always the one starting all the fun and games on set.
Full of crap. There's a bunch of most of the jokes.
Yeah.
You guys go with the crickets and
Yeah, but I suffered for that.
You did?
Yeah.
People ask me if she got revenge. She got revenge.
It was revenge by default because when Jennifer won the Oscar, I gave her a gift of a Tiffany box spill out into your hotel room and hop under your bed and behind your dresser. And so, like for a week, I didn't sleep because pet crickets. Exactly. You know, I had to shout down in the middle of the night. So yeah, she kind of got me. That's how I got.
You got yourself.
Yeah,
you got yourself there, man.
Yeah.
That's a great impression of a cricket, George. Wow.
Good old country boy.
He's whistler.
Good whistle.
Do you frog? You do frog?
No.
Ribbit.
We got the main time here. We're not going to go into the animal section for the next 20 minutes. Questions? Lady in the front here.
Obviously, you guys have to do a lot of training for films, a lot of kind of physicality. Was there any like friendly rivalry during the training? Visual kind of outfit?
Yeah. We didn't really train together so much. We're kind of in different parts of the world, sort of all getting ready for the roles, I think.
Yeah.
For me, I definitely did a lot more training for the first one than the second one. The second one I kind of just coasted into. Physically, but I worked very hard. A lot of weightlifting and such.
My stuff was more about losing weight, so I wasn't. I'm not lifting anything too heavy during this process. Cut down, yeah. Try to cut out the bad food.
Jena at the back. Yeah.
What was it like? First of all, what was it like being a male actor? To all of you, please, working in a film which is so female focused, and why are there not more female focused and female fronted blockbuster movies?
I think there should be. I think absolutely. I think it's great.
50% of the audience.
Yeah, I think it's it's a good fact. I think it's I think more power to women. I think it's such a great thing about these stories is that it's a young, courageous woman and a young girl who's managing to stay herself through all these horrible events and situations. And I think it's great that it's a young girl out front. Especially someone like Jennifer, who's such a larger than life person. It's good. She's a good role model.
I don't know why it's not more. Is it? I don't know why. It's always like a male-driven industry. I really don't know. Do you know Jeffrey?
No, I don't know either. Well, I imagine that.
I think basically every industry is male driven, so I think that's the truth.
Pornography is I'd say it's kind of more female.
Well, no, male-driven.
Not that I've ever seen.
We'll move on to the next question.
I never really enjoyed this.
Stanley didn't even get to answer.
I can say that in being a part of this, it never really affected. I never really thought about the idea that we were telling a story that was centered on this kind of mythic heroine. It just seemed it was what it was.
Story.
Yeah, and I think that has to do with the authenticity of the story, but also the Jennifer's authenticity as well. I mean, she's
Something.
She's something. I'm not sure that both of these guys. I'm not convinced that they're not actually underneath these young, fresh, lovely faces are not like. I think they're like these, like 70-year-old or 120-year-old sages underneath these guys. I mean, because there's a sophistication.
My secret.
There's a sophistication and an authenticity to them that's really very special. I mean, I know when I was 22 years old, I was doing I was working in a restaurant in Washington, D.C. and doing children's theater in the morning, and that was all I could handle. I mean, these guys are just really extraordinary. So there's no problem, for me buying into the idea that there's this female heroine at the center of it. It made perfect sense.
Lady with a question.
My question is to Liam and Josh. Both Peter and Gail changed quite dramatically in the third book. Is that something you're looking forward to explore?
In the third book? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially for Gail. I mean, Gail has, majority of his stuff is in the third, and when you get to see him standing up to it all, and you see bits and pieces of it through the first two of how passionate he is about it, and he gets to sink his teeth in.
Absolutely.
The third one.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, I've always thought that the kind of arc that Beetee takes is really incredible throughout the whole book series. From the beginning, he's such a vulnerable young lad, and into the tour third book is kind of incredible. And it's something I'm excited about, I'm nervous about to portray, because I've never gone crazy before in a movie. Real life many times, but never in a movie before, so I'm definitely excited about it.
Next question. Any guys at the back want to ask anything? Gentlemen?
Oh.
Yeah, that's you.
No microphone. Sorry. Okay.
That's you.
Wonderful. Guys, first of all, I guess the obvious thing is congratulations on the film. Really magnificent. I guess for the boys, Josh, Liam, and Sam, obviously your characters in many ways are each very different heroes, very different kinds of heroes. We heard from Jennifer and the girls about what they admire about their own characters. I guess it would be quite interesting though for each of you what you admire about your characters and what you think makes them in their own right role models or people to look up to.
Like I was saying, he's a very passionate guy. You know, he's someone who really cares about his people and his district, and you know, he's quite powerless to do anything for a long time until you know, the situation that Katniss and Beetee go through, and all of a sudden people are starting to come together, and you know, as soon as Gale hears that, you know, he already feels it happening. He wants to be a part of it. You know, he wants to fight back. He's sick and tired of sitting back and, you know, seeing his friends and his family go into these games. And, you know, sick and tired of his people being treated like this. And I think something that I always identified with him was that, you know, he stands up for what he believes in and protects the people he loves. Those are, you know, admirable things.
Sam?
I mean, what I really love about Finnegan there and relate to, and think most people will relate to, is the fact that he is kind of the archetype that Marilyn Monroe was. You know, he's not too dissimilar in the sense that he was at the forefront. He is this sort of, like I said, he's a very confident and charming human being with such a reputation. But he's had to kind of live that facade and lie, because if not, you know, everyone around him gets killed, and you know, he's had to adapt to survive. I mean, what I think is really beautiful about him is that, you know, underneath that, he has a lot of insecurities, and he wants to say, you know, stand up for himself, but he's obviously just one man, and I don't think he is the sort of the beacon of hope that Katniss is, and he sort of sees that in Katniss immediately, and obviously that's why the two of them, you know, create an alliance. Well, he's very keen to, obviously, from the beginning, but yeah, I mean, I think he's a very sensitive soul, and I think a lot of people can take away from him that, you know, you should be able to be yourself, and you know, you don't judge a book by its cover, because, you know, deep down he obviously has feelings, and he is, you know, as damaged as the rest of them, but, you know, but I suppose he's had to live with all those emotions sort of kind of pent up inside him, and I think obviously throughout Mockingjay you kind of see him from the inside out, and I think that's what I'm really, really looking forward to kind of portraying soon.
Josh?
Yeah, for me, I really admire Beetee's loyalty. He really sticks to what he believes in, not only loyalty to others, but his own ideas. And for me, that's something that I definitely connect with, and I feel something that I share with him as well, and so I definitely admire that about him. I think he needs to learn to let things go when they're not working, and learn to take the hints when somebody is not interested in you.
Okay, last question, please. Anyone? Oh, here we go.
Hiya, this time the arena is a jungle and the guys spend a lot of time kind of camping. I wanted to know if how you guys think you'd fare if you were out in the wilderness camping, and if you've got any Boy Scout kind of camping stories from when you were younger.
I love being outside. I love camping and hiking and all that stuff. So that side of the games, I would feel very confident with. Killing other people and trying to be killed, not my forte. I don't have any Boy Scout stories.
Yeah, I'm 23. I've killed 14. 14 people. Yeah. Something that I enjoy.
What about the camping side of things?
Yeah.
The camping side of things. Yeah, no, I've killed while camping as well. It's a great place to do it, out in the wilderness. Nobody to hear.
graphic note.
And thank you very much.
Thank you guys for your time here today, and thank you very much for your questions.